Hey guys, it's Griffin. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to actually run a chatting agency or just a chatting team inside of your own personal agency at scale. No burnout, no ghosting, no missing parts, no second guessing. This is the exact SOP and how we run things at my agency for YouTube for absolutely free for you guys. So in this video, it's going to be broken down into 4 different steps. First, going to be covering setup and hiring system, then how to maintain and improve performance of chatters, how we organize them and track their systems, analytics, data, receive this data, and also scaling without burnout. Now, I'm going through A through Z about chatting. So if you literally want to show this to your SOP for Chat Manager, if you want to just do it yourself, this will be the only A through Z guide that you will need in 2025 for chatting. This is literally covering everything that we do inside of our agency, except the actual training documents for the chatters. But other than that, it goes through everything. So our first thing we're getting into is the setup and hiring system of the chats, right? How we chat, how we hire, how we get the chatters, how we hire them, and how we get them into our system. So here's exactly how we hired qualified chatters without getting spammed with low-level applicants or wasting time on bad hires. Step 1, we source everything from Telegram groups. I know a lot of people do onlinejobs.ph different ways, but we do all through Telegram groups and send out an application. We find chatters inside of large VA and agency Telegram groups, especially the ones with OFM jobs, VAs, chatters, all those different groups inside of Telegram, and we relate them with job boards. Now, how we get these is a little pro tip. We use a pinned message to link the application form with a short message like looking to hire experienced OF chatters, pay $4 an hour plus commission, apply here, and then link your Google form. Inside of this Google form, we get all the necessary initial information to base whether or not we want to hire this person or it is a unqualified lead. But essentially, the whole idea is to send out a message inside of the Telegram groups linking a Google form application that chatters can go in and submit this application for. In your pinned message, you want to have things like your price that you're going to pay, the amount of traffic, whether or not you want them to use multiple creators, things like that. And also saying that you only can apply if you have experience has saved us a great deal of time as well. Now, step 2 is filtering through this Google form. The Google form asks all of the critical qualifying questions. So this is prior experience, available shift length and time zone, self-assessed English level, devices used for work, typing speed, internet speed, and the willingness to join the WhatsApp group, and their personality type and confidence level. Now, the reason why we ask for so many of these things is because anyone can chat. It's not a job that has a high barrier to entry. It's not a difficult job. Anyone can technically chat if they know English or at least can type English. But the real money making comes in is when they have experience, they're available, they have a high English level, and they use multiple devices for their work or have one steady connection and device. And then also just higher KPIs on this will make your chatting agency a little bit stronger. Now, only those who pass this form are moved on to the next stage. So they have filled out this application and we have liked what they've submitted and they will move on to this next stage, which is final vetting on a WhatsApp call. So we only book calls with the top 10 to 15% of applicants. It's not a call that we will just have with anybody. This is for hiring. This is people who have the best application, most experience, most available time, the best English level that's self-assessed. What we're focused on during this call is basically to review and verify all of the information that they submitted on this form on a live call. So on this call, we run a live chatting simulation either through WhatsApp or we get them onto the actual OF or just a simple message simulator. We also check their internet speed and typing speed by having them screen share and go to these 2 websites right here. We then assess that if they do not have a speed test of at least 100 download speed and a 5 or 4 upload speed, we will not sign. If they do not have a typing speed of at least 45 words per minute, we will not sign them. We also ask 2 personality reflective questions to figure out if they're disciplined, if they're a critical thinker, and anything else that we deem necessary inside of the chats. So we track all of this with Notion and /or Airtable. I use Notion and I didn't want to give away any of my chatters information, so I had ChatGPT cook up a little example of what this looks like. What we have is their name, their Telegram their status, typing speed, internet speed, and notes from that call. What this basically is once they do have that call and they get either passed on or scheduled for the call, that means they get booked into the Notion. Only if they get scheduled do they get booked in. And from there, whether they get onboarded, whether they get rejected, whether they get signed immediately, things like that is all done through the status. So it's very easy to track. Now, step 2 of this whole process is maintaining and improving performance. Obviously, we want good chatters, we want good hires, but we want to constantly be improving, growing, and scaling whatever model we have at the moment. So once hired, this is where the real work begins. Here's how we keep chatters sharp, maintain consistency, and prevent drops in performance. So their first week, right off the rip, week 1 is shift scheduling and shadowing. After the hire, the chatter is added to a specific creator account, whether 1 or 2, and they're scheduled for 6 to 8 hour shifts. That is our standard block. We usually shoot for a minimum of 6 and a maximum of 8. Anything in between there is usually what we go for. And they're briefed on the model's personality sheet. So this is also a form that we send to the models on onboarding. Basically finds out A through Z about their model, their pet name, their personality, whether or not they use emojis a lot. Basically lets this chatter act as the model because of the personality sheet. Now, after that, the chat manager or agency owner watches the first 3 shifts. This is very important because a lot of people to this point still can be bullshitting you. Besides, if they have a good typing and also a good internet speed, other than that, that is the real only proof that they need to fool you into signing. At this point, they could be lying about everything that they've done so far and just got lucky on these chat simulators. So what we do is we audit their first 3 shifts, making sure, and we're looking for people who know what they're doing as far as transitioning, people who know how to send messages, and also we're looking how well they are identified with inflow, what kind of settings, how well they know how to use mass messages. That is what we're mainly looking for during these first 3 shifts. After each shift, they have a debrief call to improve whatever mistakes they have, questions they may have, things like that. After that, around the 2nd or 3rd day after being hired, they're gone through a whales and vault training call. During this call, the chatter is briefed on what a whale looks like, how we identify them, how we classify as a whale, how we upsell the whales to the vault, common objection patterns that we have inside of this model, in our own agency PPV scripts, and timing structure. We brief them on the best performing scripts, which scripts use the worst, what content certain fans like, what fans to talk to, or if we have any restrictions on people who are not going to be talked to during their shifts. We brief them on all that during the 2nd call on this 3rd to 2nd day. Now, after every single week, they are putting into a weekly performance review system. Every chatter must fill out a weekly reporting form tracking this: the total PPV revenue, their total time online, the number of amounts of open/sends, and qualitative notes. This is problems, stuck buyers, etc., right? This is all done through a Google form that we send them every single week. And all of this information they can access mainly through Inflow, but we do cross-reference the self-reported data with the actual OF dashboards in Inflow bi-weekly to make sure they're being honest, they're not fooling us or anything like that. And if the performance dips, so if our chatter is not doing as well or flat lines, they're either given extra training and shadowed again by the chat manager, by myself, things like that, or they're replaced via the hiring system. It's one or the other. You cannot have dipping chatters inside of your agency. This is the pipeline. This is where the money starts and ends. It is the #1 moneymaker for your agency, so you cannot have dipping or low flat lines. You need to be replacing these if they are lacking in the agency. So this is what we kind of look like for the weekly report. It has the week number, the chatter, the creator that they was chatting on, and then like I said earlier, the revenue, the total time online, the PPV sent, and the conversion rate for the open. After that, we move on to organization and tracking systems. So you cannot run unless your backend is clean. It's something that I preach here on YouTube a lot. It's really a life lesson that I've learned throughout my years of business. So here's how we organize every chatter in every shift. Notion or Airtable, once again, equals your full chat team CRM. Being someone who literally does this, and it is my full chat CRM at the moment, Notion is my go-to. Obviously, you can use Airtable if you like, but here's how we organize and track all of these systems. So our funnel tracks each chatter from the initial form all the way to the long-term results that this chatter will have at my agency. The stages look like this. They're first contracted, they're onboarded, they're hired, they're shadowed, they're in review, and then they're removed if they are no longer with us. These are all of the different statuses that you can have during our hiring system to ensure that there is no stagnation, there's no stalemate of any point that a chatter can just sit and not work, obviously costing us money. Every chatter also has a weekly reporting tab. It's a linked database so that we can filter by the creator, the region to optimize the time zones, shift availability, and their performance score. So an example of this kind of looks like this. They have the chatter, creator, time zone, shift length, the status, and the average PPV revenue. This is just to ensure, once again, weekly reports. This right here is getting funneled from the weekly reports to show up in a Notion visual for me and my team. Now, next after this is scaling without burnout. How do we ensure that we're constantly growing? Even if you have, and I think a lot of agency owners do struggle with, where they will have 1 to 2 chatters, not really too much going on between them, and they're just constantly making money, but not really improving necessarily. This is how we figured out, and kind of the best way to go about scaling, like actually improving, making more money steadily by steadily without burnout, without having chatters quit, without the agency being tired, without taking too long. This is how we do that. We've learned that growth only happens when you replace underperformers, incentivize top performers, and streamline hiring. Why this works, let me just get a little deeper with you, is when you replace underperformers, you're getting rid of things that are taking energy, time, and money in the negative space. So the way that we look at business is anything that is taking away our budget, our time budget, our money budget, and our energy budget away from a positive increment, whether it's increasing in sales, increasing in views, whatever it may be, whatever the actual variable would be in this industry, we want to ensure that everything is constantly going through the positive incentive. So when we replace underperformers the second it happens, or after 2-3 days of putting and expediting our energy budget into them to train, if they do not perform from there, we will replace them, no questions asked. Now, the reason why we incentivize top performers and not just have them do well, incentivize them to keep going and doing more, we actually want to ensure a kind of competition and workplace feeling. So what we do inside of this, and I'll get into more depth in a little bit, but the whole idea of it is to make sure that these top performers do not dip, do not start being lazy, do not get cocky, do not just leave the agency because there's more opportunities elsewhere. This is how we do that, and I'm going to show you here in a second. And then also is lastly streamlining the hiring to prevent stress. You never want to have to go in and have 3 chatters leave and then have to spend the next 5 days or something going and building a chatting and hiring system, when you literally can do what we have right here. Send that application form in all the group chats that you know, sit back, let the calls come in, let the people funnel, and actually hire. So you want to make sure that you have a streamlined hiring process. So monthly leaderboards inside of our agency. Every single month, we calculate the top performing chatters per creator. The winner of this receives a commission increase from 3 to 5%, whatever they're paying, to 7%. We usually increment it around a 2 to 3% increment. They also get a small bonus of $10 to $20, maybe added as well, just to thank you, just to keep them inside, happy, and also scaling with the agency. Some other ongoing scaling tactics that we've been using is keep a bench of ready to go hires from the form funnel. So the people that don't actually perform at the best 10%, 15%, we keep them inside of a folder inside of WhatsApp called bench. And inside of that, we have a bunch of people at any point that we need that who are applicant and who actually can do the work, but we just didn't end up hiring them. This is a great way to kind of just always have something and somebody ready if and when need of an emergency chatter that you may have. Another scaling tactic that we have is running what's called a top closer challenge, and the winner simply gets a bonus. It encourages the people to do and perform more, which inevitably leads to you getting more money, but it also gets the winner a bonus, which is keeping the workplace fun. We also encourage longer shifts instead of stacking part-timers, so these people will have more money overall. We will have more chat time getting covered overall, and in general, it is a better option to go with longer shifts than stacking a bunch of chatters on part-times. We also want to automate hiring reminders every 2 weeks to repost your Google form. This is just so we have a floodgate and floodline, and also a efficient floodline set of that inside of your agency for chatting hiring. Now, the way that this kind of looks like with the revenue chatter board is inside of the database, we keep a tally of who is making the most money. It has the month, the creator, the top closer for that month, the revenue that it made, and the bonus that they received from it. This is viewed by every single chatter inside of my agency so that they can get motivated to hit those bonuses and get the extra commission. And as well, seeing the money is never a bad thing for somebody. So that is how we go about chatting and hiring inside of my agency. I hope you learned something, and if you are using this for your next SOP for your chatting and hiring, I do encourage you, send me a message on Instagram. Let me know you enjoyed it. I really do appreciate when you guys are actually putting the value and information that I'm putting out here on YouTube into work. If you're interested in any more information that I have for free that I can't really put out here on YouTube, you can join my Telegram channel. It's 100% free in the description. Second link, I believe, has over 700 founders. So if you're interested in getting your community closer, also getting a network of people, we host weekly calls in there every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want your live Q&A questions answered, anything like that, we also go over free documents and templates. So I do encourage you, go inside a Telegram group. The value is insane, literally for free. But other than that, I hope hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button if you did enjoy. I really do appreciate it. Like I say, most of the times it really doesn't do anything, but it motivates me so much more to keep making these videos and content for you guys when you're liking the video. But other than that, it's been Griffin. This is how to actually run a chatting hiring system at scale, how we do it inside of our agency. So if you enjoyed, hit the like button. If not, either way, it's still been Griffin, and peace out, boys.